I did not want to make this video. I had bigger plans for this bag, but with all what's going on in the news recently, I think this would be very helpful to a lot of people. Just bear with me a second, I'll be back with you in a moment. I'll just get everything ready. Right, where to start? The Polish bread bag was originally designed for Polish soldiers to carry food, personal items and small pieces of equipment. It's made from a durable cotton canvas and it was issued between 1970 and 1990. Its dimensions are 11-inch wide, 9-inch high and 4-inch wide. On the back it has D-rings to hold a strap in place. Bear with me a second, I'll try and move it a bit close to the camera. There we go, just here and here. It's got external webbing straps so you can hold small rolls or equipment in place. At the moment I've got this blanket held in place at the bottom here. The top flap is held with probably my favourite strap and buckle system. These Cold War things, you just press down this little roller here, move it through like this. Just move that through and pull the strap through. Bring it forward a little bit so you can see it better. Each one of these little D-rings has a little metal roller on. You feed this top D-ring through the bottom one, and then they feed the strap through each and then back on in itself. I'll have another video later on in the episode to show you what I'm talking about. I do have a tendency to waffle when I'm not fully scripted. Right, so underneath this top flap there's two pockets that are perfect for holding either a multi-tool or a pen. The main compartment is divided into two segments once you get rid of this little thing here. More on those later. So there's two compartments within the bag itself. One, this smaller one here, is 4-inch wide that can hold a canteen, very similar to the Swiss M84. I love this canteen and cup set, great design. And the second is 7-inch wide, and it's perfect for holding a first aid kit and all your other essentials that you may need for what I will be talking about shortly. Internally on this bag, there's 4 pockets. One on this side, which is just deep enough to hold. Bear with me a second. Each one of these pockets is a little button and a loop fixture. And this one on this side is just deep enough to hold, sorry, very old buttons, a compass. And you've got 2 more on this side here that can hold a head torch and much needed batteries. On the smaller section, they have another one at this far end here that runs all the way down to the bottom of the bag, and that is perfect for quite awkward little buttons. It's one of the few drawbacks of this actual bag. This bag is, well, there's videos worshipping this type of bag. this larger pocket can hold a write in the rain pad and pencil. So we've gone through the pockets and the dimensions of them. I haven't gone through the dimensions of the pockets. This one on this side is 3-inch wide and 3-inch high, and it's sewn straight to the pocket, so there's no real depth to it. These two on this end here are 3-inch wide and 3-inch high, but can expand to a 1.5 inch in depth. They can easily hold a head torch and batteries, like I've just said. This long one on this side here was originally designed to hold a cutlery set, and it's 3 inches wide, 6 inches high approx, and well, anything along these lines of width and depth it can hold easily. Right, so the reason why I've made this video, and just bear with me a second, I'll just get everything moved out of the way, and then we'll go through why I've decided to make this video the way that I have. So bear with me a second. So I was going to make this video about this bag, very similar to the MTP fuel pack video, but as something similar to a day hack bag, but slightly further afield, you know, like an overnighter, or maybe you go to visit friends or relatives and you need something to carry some extra stuff with you. But with what's going on in the news, and me myself personally having 25 plus years experience working in security, and also maybe 3 decades worth of first aid experience behind me, I think, without being sort of like one of these fear-mongering YouTubers, you may see on YouTube preppers, like they have 3 types of bags that they go on and on and on about. They have the inch bag, the I ain't ever coming home bag, which is, you know, 120 litre Bergen full of everything they'll need for when they run off into the forest to become like the next Al Dixon. They have the bug out bag, which is designed to last you for 72 hours, maybe a little bit longer. That's all right if we had actual woodland or anywhere to run to, but as you know, in England we have most of our woodland cut down, and well, as I found out the other week, if you do go into the woodland, you may experience bands of roaming feral kids. But what I'm talking about today is something far more rational: the get home bag. This is imagine. No, let's not imagine. Just watch the news, and every other day at the moment there has been some kind of event where streets have been cordoned off, people have been told to leave an area. And what do you do in that situation? What do you do if you're at work, or like me, you're relying on public transport because you've got health issues like me, feeling the outside, and maybe you're in your car, you hear on the radio there's been some kind of event where in that exact location that you are, and you've already had difficulty traversing oulets or, you know, a pedestrianised area that the last time you were in was freely for roaming roads. So what do? Do you panic? Do you run off in any direction, or do you have something on you, something light and capable to sustain you for at least 24 hours until you either find somewhere that's been designated a refuge centre, or you finally manage to make your way home? And this is what I think would make the perfect get home bag. Now, you've probably seen dozens of other videos on YouTube of, oh, look at this 20 litre thing that's covered in molly and has more attachments, to the point where you might as well just say, well, why don't you just buy a 40 litre Bergen. Look at the amount of things you've got all over it. Well, in the prepared community, there is two trains of thought. There's the tactical, which is, you know, molly everywhere, and the grey man. The grey man is someone who has the knowledge, but is blending in a way. You can still spot them miles away because they all look military. No matter how you sell the grey man look on YouTube, you always have a military vibe. But there is a way around that, using military surplus to look a bit like a hipster. And this is how I approach it. Now, this bag it's probably as old as me. At least 40 years old. Yeah, let's just call it 40 years old for the sake of argument. And when the top flap's in place, it looks retro, a bit hipster. And if you look like, I'm not disparaging the hipster community here, but if you look like a hipster from a distance, the average person would try to avoid you. Come on, yeah, admit it. If you saw a hipster walking down the street, you'd be like, what is that? What's that? What? Yeah, I'm crossing the road. Yeah. See you? Yeah. Nice one. Anyway, so, hipsters. Sorry, I didn't mean to offend you, but you're probably the first of many people that I will offend in some way or other in this video, expressing my thoughts on how I would approach this situation. And I don't want to make too light heart of it, but here we go. So, there's been an event. You're struggling to get an idea of what's going on. So before I go into what I would put into this, let's talk about what to do in the event of a mass casualty event. Immediately it's safe to do so, find a way to get out of there. Hide. If you've no means of egress possible, just find a room or a doorway and just cover and concealment. Find some way of just sitting down and reassessing. Somewhere quiet, not a back alley, not somewhere that could, cause a bottleneck or risk the safety of yourself. Just somewhere that's out of the way. Me personally, I'd find my way to a public park or a quiet area with seating somewhere, like a bandstand or something like that. Only as a last resort should you ever make a stand. Don't be a hero. There's every chance that if you're seen by the authorities with some kind of weapon or looking a bit like you're ready for a bit of argy-bargy, you may be treated as a suspect and dealt with accordingly. Now, at the London Bridge attacks, we did see the guy chasing the attacker with a narwhal tusk. That's something that could only ever happen in England, basically. Same goes for when there was the attack in I think it was Glasgow airport, and the Scotsman actually decked a guy that was on fire. Yeah, these are things that are newsworthy, but again, you have to consider your own safety and the safety of those that you are with first. It's better to run and hide than become a statistic. Follow any instructions. The minute an ongoing fluid situation occurs, the authorities, the police, will implement protocols. They may be on the radio, they may be over a tannoy system. Follow those instructions to the letter as best as you can. And if you are approached by any member of the first responders, be it police, ambulance or fire brigade, keep your hands visible at all times and your body language open. Now, you also may have seen on the news recently that there is organisations other than the police, other than the paramedics, other than the fire brigade that may be on site. These could be everyone from the St John's Ambulance to the Salvation Army, or if you're in the northwest of London, the Hasola, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, or the Shomrim. They are the groups that you've seen on the news quite recently dealing with incidents in and around northwest London. And no, they are not a diet, sugar-free, caffeine-free version of the RDF or Mossad. They were set up in 2008 to tackle a rise in burglaries in their area. It's only recently that they have had these other abilities added to their repertoire. They have to go through full SIA training, and also they spend time learning counter-terrorism through the Metropolitan Police. In the event you may have to help others, I'm going to be realistic here, and it's sad to say, stick with what you know. You may think, oh, I know how to make a cat tourniquet, I know how to make a tourniquet. Do you really? Do you really know how much pressure to sustain on a wound without causing more grief? Like, just Google crush injuries and people who have been trapped under vehicles, and although they are talking and they're moving certain limbs, the only thing that rescuers can offer is a telephone, phone your family, let them know what's going on, because there's every chance that due to the fact that you've been in that situation for a length of time, toxic things have been building up within your internal organs through your system, and they are located in the area that's crushed. If they remove that atom in the correct manner, those toxic things will flow through your system and you will be a statistic. Yeah, it can do more harm than good. Sometimes the only thing you can do is offer a blanket and comforting words. This comes from someone who has 3 decades worth of first aid training. You are not an expert. First aid is not an expert in medical care. You are literally just doing your best. Now, situational awareness, there's an acronym that you should know in the case of a mass casualty event, and that is methane. METHANE. The major incident is evolving. The police and authorities will want to know your exact location, the type of incident, the hazards. There may be a madman roaming the streets with a weapon of some description, or there may be a gas leak due to the after effects of the incident. Access. Can you create an access point for the authorities to get to you? Only if safe to do so. You would also potentially be asked when you're reporting the number of casualties or the number of potential casualties. Not all, maybe what you've seen. Don't start making up numbers, just what you've seen. Stick to the facts, because This is all information in a rapidly evolving situation that could help. Don't try to be a hero in any circumstances. Don't hinder. Don't use your confirmation bias. Don't make up theories. Just stick to the facts. And finally, when you make that initial call, you will need to say exactly the emergency services that are required and quickly. There's useful links available on the NHS Gov website explaining what to do in the aftermath, such as taking care of your own mental health, all that with friends and family. Right, that's all that information out of the way. I do apologise that it's a very heavy subject, but it's something that I think we all should at least discuss. Just bear with me a second, I'll get everything ready and I'll show you what I would put into a go bag. Be right back. So I'm back now, and let's go through what I would put in, on, or around a get home bag, go home bag, whatever you want to call it. Right, let's start with what I would have on the outside. You may find yourself in a situation where you're constantly moving, either through kettling or constant updates on the radio or through the tannoy system, depending on where you are. I'd make it a 1 litre bottle, some way of attaching to your bag. This is a Swedish Army 1 litre water bottle, and it's 2 years older than me. There's plenty of modern things that are on the market that do a similar job, but I got this because it was cheap. I found it on Vinted a few weeks ago. I think it cost me a £5. The next thing in the bag would be some gloves. These are motorcyclist gloves. They have them weird knuckle things. Some way of protecting your knuckles, because you may have to move debris depending on what kind of situation you have faced yourself in. The next thing, as soon as you open the flap, would be a first aid kit. Now this is set up for hypothermia, cuts, slips, trips, falls, deep lacerations, and a few little bits of pain medication. Also within this, I would have some hand sanitizer and dust masks, because you never know what kind of situation you may find yourself in. Right, so next thing, we have some hand warmers, chem lights. You may need to signal someone or something. We have a radio, either battery or crank operated, with headphones, and required batteries if it takes batteries. When safe to do so, you may find yourself, either yourself or someone that you find along the way, a little bit of comfort food goes a long way. Along with the food, you have a means to cook it, this bit stove, and this was on 94. Depending on how long you are away from home, you may need to have a little bit of a hygiene kit with you. A little bit more keeping your internal body temperature regulated, or that someone that you're with. A little thermal poncho. Candling and require batteries. Headlamp there. and a torch. Again, a little poo spoon, maybe for clearing away debris or using as a latrine digger, depending on where you are or the situation. 24-hour candle. You may need to read the following thing that I'll pick out. An in-depth roadmap of where you are heading or where you are. If you find yourself in an unfamiliar town, or the roads are blocked, or there was already roadworks in place, you may need to have a compass at hand to regain your sense of direction. And finally, write in the rain, notepad and pen. So you may find yourself having to take notes or leave notes for people along the way. Oh, of course, you'll need lighters for your means to cook. On the outside we have a multi-tool and a pen. Again, you may need to take or give notes. And finally, on the outside bottom of the bag we have the blanket. I've already mentioned this, but you may find that you using it in conjunction with other things such as the thermal poncho, you may find yourself having to stay overnight in either a sanctuary of some kind or a centre that's been set up and there may not be any bed spare, or you may find yourself having to literally sit for numerous hours in a cold corridor. So yeah, this is how I would pack a go bag. In the UK we have very strict self-defense laws, so if you do want to pack something else, that is up to you completely, and bear in mind the legal consequences of what would happen if you use it. In other countries such as America, you may be in a state or a city where concealed carry is a regular occurrence, but in the UK our laws are pretty much tailored towards the rights of the perpetrator, not the victim, and the average person on the street can get stopped for carrying a dessert spoon, pretty much. Right, that's today's video. I hope you found it interesting. Like I say, it was a complete change of direction for this episode. I was going to use this, like I said, as a slightly more longer term hike bag, maybe going to visit friends or something, but I thought now is the time to unleash Prepper Drew upon the world. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something. So yeah, please leave a comment below on what you would put into a go bag, and or maybe you have a go bag yourself and you'd like to link the video to your way of putting it out. That would be cool. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Ciao for now. So this is how it looks when the roller system is in place with the strap. I'll show you on this other side how to do it. Move it a bit closer to myself and a better view on the camera. So you have this top D-ring on the flap, and on the body of the bag you have the D-ring with the little roller on. You get your strap, you hold the strap in place in one hand, then you feed this D-ring over the top of the one with the roller. Now I know that I said under in the previous segment, but that was just me making that little mistake. So then you take your strap and you feed it through both the roller and the other D-ring. You hold the roller in place whilst you pull it through. You then feed the strap back through over that D-ring without the roller and under the one with the roller, and then you pull tight, and they look something a little bit like that once they are done. I love this method of closing a bag. I don't know what it is about this Cold War technology, but it's just so rudimentary yet brilliant. Quick side note before I begin this section. These bags are readily available online, and you can pick them up for like £7, and they're all in pretty much unissued condition. And although they are potentially 50 years old, they will last a long while.